Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I'm going to be answering your guys' questions that I asked you last week on a video. If you want to submit your own questions, look out for another video that I'll post asking for questions, and you can leave the comments there. And also, I'm going to be time-stamping all the questions, so if you have a specific question you want to answer, check the description for the timestamp of that question. You can jump right to it, because I have a feeling this is going to be a very long video. So, without further ado, let's get to the comments. So this is in no particular order. I believe it's whoever commented first, but I could be wrong. YouTube sometimes does that. First comment is, what car brands do you hate? There's no car brands I really hate. I think some car brands do very stupid things. I think Chrysler can't make a cheap car to save their life, but I love Dodge. Yeah, there's no real car brands I really like, brands as a whole. I think there's a lot of stupid cars that car brands make, but I don't really hate any car brands. Max asks, now that you have the 13B, don't you miss the feeling of the Nikki Carb secondaries opening up? To be honest, not really, because my current 13B, the secondary injectors, before the tune, it's tuned out now, but there would kind of be a build-up, it kind of hesitate, and then it kind of felt a little bit like VTEC. So that was really cool, but I love fuel injection over carburetor any day. I just think it's better, personally. Mk3 Supra versus 240SX, which one would you take over the other? This is from Nikolai. I've really only driven a 240SX. I've never driven a Supra. Mark 3, Mark 2, Mark 1, Mark 4, I've never driven any of them. So I'd probably take, it would have to be a really clean 240. I'm not a big fan of 240s unless they're super clean, like the one I drove up in Wisconsin. Thank you, Alex, for that. Next one comes from Kozia Dragos. I need your help. As far as you know, can a supercharger with a rotary can you supercharger a rotary without to use a carburetor? Can you do a carbureted or non-carbureted supercharged rotary? I'm not quite sure. I'll have to ask Atkins about that, because I know that they supercharge an FC. I've heard of superchargers used before. Camden's supercharger makes a kit, but it has to be carbureted. Maybe one day I would like to supercharge an FB, if not Rose, then another one, to do a fuel-injected 13B. It'd be a lot of custom work. I haven't really heard of one, but yeah. From the same person, Coyote versus LS, your thoughts? Again, I don't have a whole lot of knowledge of both of them. I've driven LS engines. I don't believe I've driven a Coyote engine. So I don't really have any opinion on that, besides the fact that I think Coyote swaps are more unique, but that's that. Do you agree with my name from Mustangs are best for crowd control? From the GT500 that I drove, yes. Those things, I really don't like Mustangs anymore. After driving that GT500, it can't handle itself. It was way too squirrely to drive. I've driven higher horsepower cars that handled way better. Aaron's Minecraft review says 2JZ or RB26. I've only driven an RB20. I've never driven a 2JZ or RB26. I love the RB20. So if the RB26 is better, which I'm sure it is, RB26 all day. Roto Turret says, once you complete Rose, what is your next plan for a project car? What do you want to do? Why do you want to do fender flares so bad? Fad thing that ruins panels unless they are rusted out. Keep brapping. So, I get this question a lot about how I keep talking about doing fender flares and whatnot. My fenders, at least in the rear, are pretty badly rusted. The driver's side, it's all surface rust. Probably could be ground down and painted pretty easily. Passenger side, it has some rot, so I'm just going to cut that all out. That's a misconception. A lot of people think I'm going to cut a really clean car. The car's not really that clean. The paint job is nice, but it's really not that clean. And if you watch the last Rotary Life, which should be up by the time this video comes out, if not, then I'm spoiling it, but the suspension has actually rusted away from the frame of the car, so it needs a lot of rust repair. So fender flares, I think they look cool, but also I'm not really chopping up that clean of a car. Next one just says, buy a Volvo 740. No. My cousin Colin asks, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? 13B. BK asks, my question is, will you fit in my Honda and how much power will you make? You didn't specify which Honda. I fit in most Hondas. So, and since it's a Honda, probably a pretty hefty 90 horsepower. Hey, this one's from Ronnie. Hey, will you ever be coming down to New Jersey? Also, will you ever wide body Rose or any other RX-7? Love the videos and keep up the amazing work. Thank you. I'd maybe wide body an RX-7 later on. I don't really like the first gen wide bodies. I think they look too dated, if that's a thing. Obviously, I'm going to do the fender flares, but that's not wide body. I'm not going to say I have a wide bodied RX-7. But I think third gen Rocket Bunny kits look good. I know that they're kind of overdone, but I think they look good. Ryan says, why don't you daily the RX-7? Well, I don't daily the RX-7 because I don't have to. I have a daily driver, thank God. It doesn't have air conditioning. I don't want anything to happen to it. There's just no real sense or real need for me to daily drive it. But if we are able to fix that rust repair, because I'm kind of nervous, there's a slight chance we might not be able to, but go ahead, go check out that Rotary Life. I'll explain all that. If we can fix that rust repair, I will be making a video of dailying the RX-7 for an entire week. I won't drive my G6 for a whole week or any other car for a whole week. And just see how it goes. Alex asks, 787B or LM55, which do you like more? 787B is just a classic. Thoughts on getting a manual first car? Not really sure what they're asking, if what car they should get, or just thoughts on getting a manual as your first car. I would say do it. I enjoy driving stick shift. It's a lot of fun, and it's better to learn earlier than later. Are you going to the 7.7 Elite Rotary Meet and Cruise this July? Not quite sure yet. Not really sure what my plan is this summer. I have a couple things planned. Yeah. Andy says, why aren't you famous yet? I don't know. Is mayonnaise an instrument? Yes. Will you buy an electric car one day? This is actually an interesting question that I've been thinking about, and I think I would. I would probably buy an electric car as a daily. Like a Tesla Model 3, I think would be a perfect daily once all the kinks are worked out of it. But yeah, I'd love an electric car just to, you know, go to the store in, don't have to use gas, that'd be great. I won't ever not have a gas-powered car, though. So if I had a Tesla Model 3... you can bet your bottom dollar Rose will be sitting right next to it, or any other RX-7 or Skyline. I think I'll always have a Rotary, though. Same question from Car Maniac. What do you think of electric cars? We just bought a 2018 Nissan Leaf and had the previous one as well. What are your thoughts on electric cars in general? Do you think you'll ever get one? I kind of just answered this with Andy, which is funny. These were commented right after each other. Yeah, I think so. I really want to review one. I'd love to review a new Nissan Leaf. I'd really love to review any electric car. I want to see if there's a noticeable difference, because I've never driven one. I've driven a hybrid, but that's different. Yotsuba says, how did you and Gingium meet up? Well, we actually met through RX-7s. He said that he wanted one. He found my channel, actually, because I made the RX-7 videos. He added me on Snapchat, asked me some questions. We went back and forth. I was actually supposed to go with him to pick up the RX-7, but unfortunately work got in the way. And then the first time I actually met him in person was to make the Series 4 versus Series 5 RX-7 video, and we've been friends ever since. Caleb's a great kid, one of my good friends, and we'll definitely be making more content together. So I've been thinking about, a rotary is spinning in a constant motion. Why does it still have a rev limiter? This is from James. Well, a couple of things, and I'm no scientist, but these are my theories. First of all, heat. When you're revving higher and higher, you're going to be producing a lot of heat. Second would be fuel. Can't get enough fuel and air. That's why people Bridgeport it so they can rev higher. But there's got to be a ceiling on that. I don't know what that would be, but there has to be some sort of ceiling on how much fuel you can shove into an engine and air. And then spark. You can get it to spark pretty quick. But basically, at some point, you're either going to choke it out or the engine's going to get too hot. This is from Dom Quirp1. Have you ever had interest in American cars? Yeah, I love the new muscle cars. I love old muscle cars. I would love a 69 Charger. That's a dream car. Dream project car would be a 69 Charger. I just happen to like Japanese cars. I have nothing against American cars. There's plenty of American cars I'd love. I love the Camaro ZL1 that I drove. Not a big fan of the Mustang. I drove the Hellcat. I love that. But yeah, I have nothing against American cars. My first car was a truck, a Dodge Ram. Gotta love an American V8. I mean, they're just fun. This one's from Logan. If Rose didn't look the way she did and you were to go all out with her, what would you do? I don't know. First of all, I hate referring to cars as her. I think it's really weird. I don't care if you guys do it, whatever. I don't think of Rose as a her. I just want that to be clear. I know it's kind of a feminine name, but it's because of the color and all that stuff. And I'm making a documentary about why I named it Rose and the history of Rose right now. So I explain all that, but I think that's weird. But if it didn't look the way it did, and if I were to go out, what would I do? All out, I think I'd probably do like a 3-rotor turbo. I mean, really put the power down. And I'd probably keep it I'd do the fender flares. I really personally want to get the headlight inlet. I know it doesn't do anything. I just think it looks sick. And then maybe like a little spoiler. But honestly, I think the car looks great. I wouldn't do louvers. I'm not a big fan personally. I like the retro look of them, but I'm not the biggest fan. Nissan Laurel or Toyota JZX 100? That's from Matthew. Never driven a Toyota JZX 100, but I love the Nissan Laurel. I drove one of those, so I think the Laurel would have to take the cake. Dorito Boy has a couple of questions. Any fan meetups soon? Not planned, but I'll definitely let you guys know what events I'm going to. And I do want to do like a cruise this summer, and I'll let everyone know about that. I need to get my car sorted out, and then I'll do all that stuff. Will you do any autocross? Maybe. I'd like to. Again, I want to get my car sorted out. Will you go to any US Air Motorsports drift events? I'd like to. I know a couple of friends are heading up there soon for the first D-Day. It might have already happened by the time this video comes out. I'm filming this April 24th on a Tuesday. Can I touch Gingium's head? If you know where to find him, I'm not telling you. And keep up the good work, B. Thank you. Diego asks, how much did the RX-7 cost you? Well, originally it's $2,500 when I purchased it, USD, US currency. I probably, all said and done, I probably have $8 or $9 grand altogether. That's with the swap. I mean, all the tires, rims. I did a clutch and brakes when I first got it. Everything that includes buying the FC for $850. All that included, probably $8 or $9 grand into it. If everything in the universe, including atoms and particles, stop moving, does time stop, or does time continue even though everything is frozen? This is from Elo Bob. I don't know. I really don't know. I am the complete wrong person to ask that. What are your thoughts on putting a 2.3 or 2.5 liter MZR in an RX-8? Also a Renesas 13B in an NC Miata. By the way, how they should have come from the factory. While I agree it would have been cool to have a 13B Miata, it wouldn't have been a Miata. And also, the NC was made at the exact same time as the RX-8, so it kind of would have been pointless. They would have competed against each other. Thoughts on putting a 2.3 or 2.5 turbo MZR into an RX-8? I think that'd be cool. I'm not a huge fan of the Renesas 13B, so I mean, it's still rotary. If anything, keep the RX-8 rotary, but if you really need to piston swap it, I think that could be a cool swap. Eastbound and Down, nice little Smokey and the Bandit reference, says, my question is, do you even drift, bro? No. But really, how do you keep your car clean? And will you start any other build cars like an off-road or time attack? I keep my car clean. Like I said, it's not that clean, but I do wash it at least weekly. I do manual wash, so it's like a pressure washer and pressure soap. I don't do brush or anything. I don't let it touch the paint. Will you start any builds on cars? I'd like to. Money is tight. I am a college student. So, like I said, I don't make that much money off YouTube, and writing for Car Marshal are my only two jobs at the moment. So, I'd like to, hopefully this winter, I might make a poll of either porting my engine, doing a street port on the RX-7, or starting a new build. Actually, leave your comment now if you made it this far in the video, if I should street port my RX-7 or start a new build. It will be Mazda. Whatever it is, it's going to be Mazda. T-Nice said, when is the header install video coming? It should already be up by the time this comes out. If it's not, soon. I promise you soon. I've held that off because I wanted to do the suspension in one video, but it looks like it's going to be a while before we can do the suspension. Same guy says, or girl, Do you plan on installing any Racing V pulleys? Yes, I'd like to do the dual pulley system. I'll probably get it from Atkins just because Atkins has a kit, and they've been awesome to me with the show and all that stuff, so probably do that. Alex asks, how bad is the FB rot? Are you planning on reshelling the FB in the future or doing other serious engine mods such as ports or turbo on your current chassis? Kind of answered both of those. The FB rot is kind of bad, not gonna lie. It's not horrendous, but it's not great either. So if we can't fix the suspension, I will be on the search for a new shell. I'm gonna slide everything, all the work that we've done, I'm gonna put it into a new shell. But I don't want to do that. Because of the rot, I'm kind of hesitant to do turbo or like a big horsepower build on this chassis now. But down the road, I want to do an SA that's a turbo. But I might port the engine because that'll probably get me up to like 200 wheel, and then that will be a comfortable amount. The Truth asks, if you were to collaborate with Gingium on a project car, what would you want to choose, and what would be the name of the project? I feel like Caleb and I could really collab on any project car. I'd like it to be Mazda, especially a Miata would be awesome, just because he has a lot of experience with Miatas, and I like Miatas since they're so close to RX-7s, or an RX-7 build, that would be cool. But collaborating on a build would be really hard. You know, whose car would it be at the end? Whose shop or whose place would we keep it at? I would assume his. But, you know, it would be hard to collaborate on a build. Now, we might do a build competition where we both get beater cars. We've been tossing that idea around, where we both get $500 cars, you have a weekend to build it, that sort of thing. But I don't know about collaborating on one car. SOHC Puppet says, buying an FB RX-7, should I do it? Won't be first car. So when I first read this, I read it as it would be your first car. I would say go for it if you have other means of transportation. In my history, I bought a cheap RX-7, and yes, it has broken a couple of times. It's by no means all RX-7s, but I bought a cheap one that was chopped up. So if you buy one for like $7,000, that's 32,000 miles, you could daily it, sure. But if not, if you have another car, yes, I'd definitely recommend picking one up. And I do want to make a video, I probably will soon, that you guys should buy FBRX7s ASAP because they are going up in price. Random McRandoms, thank you for the current support. I always see your comments on the channel. What is your absolute final plan with Rose? It's always changing. I think the last question and answer video I said Turbo 2 swap. Now I'm more leaning towards I just want it street ported, running good. I want a nice cruising car, a hefty amount of horsepower where the Honda pulls up next to me, I'll, you know, blow its doors off. I mean, I already beat Hondas, but I really want to blow the doors off. Yeah, I'd say just street port, clean it up, just a good, healthy cruising car that's reliable and that sort of thing. So honestly, at this point, I'd probably keep it NA. That's probably the final plan. But I'll probably, knowing me, I'll probably end up getting bored and do force induction. Jacob Casio says, NA Rotaries and NOS would be a cool topic. Not really a question, but I think a naturally aspirated NOS Rotary would be cool. The only NOS I've ever heard put into an FB, my friend had an LS swapped FB that he ran NOS on. That was a fast car. And I'm not the biggest fan of piston swaps, but I give him props. It was clean, it looked great, ran great, and was fast. Dick Stroke got me to say it. Which Rotary is worst Rotary car? Probably a 2004 automatic RX-8. I believe they're 4 ports, they're slow, they're automatic. That being said, I really want to buy one just to daily and see how it is. And they're cheap. You can pick them up running driving for like $1,500. Rusty Pizza, another longtime commenter. Would you say the RX-7 community is one of the most dedicated to their cars? Yes, but I think I'm kind of biased in that because I'm a part of it. But you go to a Rotary meet, I mean, literally, words cannot describe. You feel like a family there. It's awesome. Everyone helps out everyone. If you guys saw the most recent Rotary Life, or if it's not out, it'll be out soon. Again, I don't know when I'm uploading all this stuff. I met up with the previous owner of my car, and he gave me a bunch of parts for my car, just free. He was like, you can use them. And that's what the Rotary community is all about. It's about sharing ideas, parts, all that stuff, and help. So it's really cool. And yeah, I do think the RX-7 community is one of the most dedicated. This comes from Reese Barger. Barger? If you could, would you join Caleb's YouTube channel, kind of like Calvin and TJ Hunt? Also, if you had the Rally Miata, what would you do to it? Would you do something like Caleb, or would you do your own route? Alright, so 2 questions in there. Would I join Caleb's channel? No. I would not become a part of Gingium. I really enjoy being in his videos. I love having him in my videos. I love collaborating. But at the end of the day, I want my own product to show people. I want to say, hey, this is my YouTube channel. Not, hey, this is my friend and I's YouTube channel. And it's nothing against Caleb. I wouldn't want to do that with anyone. I would consider making a joint YouTube channel where maybe I have a show about my Rotaries and he has a show about his Miatas and minivan and bus. Maybe a joint YouTube channel, maybe, but then that would probably get into money and stuff. So I love collaborating with him. He's in my videos, I'm in his videos, but I wouldn't want to join his YouTube channel. And then what would I do with the Rally Miata? I'd honestly do what he's doing. I really like what he's done with the Rally Miata. I think it's really unique, and I want to do that to a Rotary. I want to do that to an FC. Ramon says, can I fit an RX-8 motor in my 88 RX-7, and do I need to do any modifications? Yes, it'll fit, because they're both 13Bs. They're both the same size. Intake-wise, I don't know how intakes are, but modifications, you would probably have to modify the oil pan and engine mounts. That's really what you need for any Rotary swap. With engine mounts and a different oil pan, you could put a 12A into an FD. I wouldn't recommend it, but you could. Michael says, will you do a meetup? Yes, I'd like to. For those of you who don't know, I'm in Aurora, Illinois, right outside Chicago. So if you're in that area and you'd like to meet up, let me know. We could figure something out. Not one-on-one. Not one-on-one. Please don't invite me to your house. I want to do a meetup around here, though, is what I'm saying. So if you're in the northern Illinois area, I probably will be doing a meet, hopefully this summer. If not, we'll figure something out. Ajit Pai says, dream car, dream build. Really, I've been asked this question actually twice today in school, in college. What's my dream car? I really don't have an answer. I would love a Nissan GTR. I just think they're fun to drive, the new ones. I drove a 2009. It was a lot of fun to drive, and I'd love to own one. But, like, dream car, honestly, ever since I got my RX-7, there's no dream car for me. There's cars I want to drive, but, like, I'm not, like, consciously thinking, like, oh, I'm going to own a Lambo one day. It's like, no, I'm going to build cars pretty much the rest of my life. So, that's a really hard question. And Joey Clark says, would you ever subframe swap your FB? Now, this is a thing that people do. They swap the FC subframe into the FBs. It gives you better steering. You could do a 5-lug up front, that sort of thing. I don't really have a need to. Mainly people do that for drifting because you can get better suspension up front, and they have a lot of angle kits for the FCs, so you can do that. Vargas, who tunes Hert's car, Vargas FB on Instagram, his garage is actually making a kit that like crosses over, which is really cool. But no, I don't really have any need to. Maybe down the road if I did like a high horsepower FB, I would, or a drift FB, but I don't have any need to. And last but not least, why didn't you buy Caleb's FC? Couple reasons. One, I don't have the money. I don't have $6,500 laying around, or however much he sold it for. And second of all, I don't like buying cars already built. I want to build them myself, and so Caleb already built that. Well, I want to thank you guys so much for submitting your questions. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it this far into the video, I don't know how far it is, but it's a long one. These question videos are a long time, but I really enjoy connecting with you guys and answering whatever questions you have. Thank you guys so much for 10,000 subscribers. My plan for a 10,000 subscriber special kind of fell through, so I'm not really doing anything, but don't let that fool anyone. I seriously am grateful from the bottom of my heart. I never thought that I would get to 10,000, and it's only up from here. I'm still going to produce content for you guys as long as you guys like it. So thank you guys so much again for watching. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.
There goes a sight from my soul.